Time now for the last in our series on climate change. All this week we've been looking at the four classical natural elements of earth, wind, fire and water, exploring the challenges we're facing and the possible solutions.
Here's our weather presenter Holly Green with her fourth and final report. Tonight we're looking at wind.
From violent windstorms to gentle breezes, our winds direct the Earth's heat and moisture, creating the climate we've known for thousands of years. But as the world warms, questions are mounting about how our wind patterns will shift and what that will mean for all of us. Climate expert Paul Williams is a professor of atmospheric science.
So we're looking here at the jet stream, the winds 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. Why are they so important?
Well, they're just critical for our weather here in the UK because these are the jet streams that blast weather systems across to our shores.
And there's a lot of uncertainty about exactly how it's going to change in our changing climate, isn't there?
There is. One possibility that we might expect is that the jet stream could become wavier. I mean, you can see these waves in the jet stream, and if it were to get wavier and these waves get locked in place, sitting over the UK for weeks on end, that tends to give us extreme weather like heat waves, droughts, extreme wind events, or a prolonged cold spell in the winter months.
Of all the elements, wind is currently our big hope here in the UK for reducing emissions with clean energy. We have more offshore wind turbines than any other country except China, and on a windy day they can generate more than half our nation's energy needs. But how else might we harness the wind's power?
Shipping currently produces over 900 million tonnes of CO2 every year, but could new technologies make that water under the bridge? Oh, hi John.
Here in Portsmouth, they're working on a project that will see their first greener ships on the high seas next year.
This is 180 metres worth of cargo ship carrying 80,000 tonnes of cereal and grains around the world, and what we're here to do is to reduce emissions. So we're putting on some sails and we're aiming to save 1.5 tonnes of fuel. That's 4.5 tonnes of CO2 for each of these wings we're putting on this large ship.
Okay, Holly. A virtual reality headset brings home to me the sheer scale of what's involved.
Oh,
those are the three airfoil shapes.
Yeah.
So you can think of it like an aircraft wing. We're just looking for the maximum power possible.
Oh wow, it's huge, isn't it? Ironically, it's making me feel a little bit seasick.
It's all adapting ideas and technology their engineers used in the design of Ben Ainsley's America's Cup yacht.
They have wings fitted to these race boats that are powerful enough to lift them out of the water and fly them through the skies above the sea. And we're using the same simulation, the same techniques, the same idea of developing maximum thrust and fitting our wings to larger ships.
So can you foresee a future where these wing sails are on vessels across the world?
I absolutely can. And in fact, we have to see it because while there are other fuel technologies in development that can cut emissions further in the future, they're not there yet, and we need to do something now.
From ships sailing across the globe to one man's back garden in Dorset. Peter Bailey is a smaller scale pioneer, the first person in England to supply wind energy to his neighbours from his very own wind turbine.
What made you decide to build a wind turbine in your back garden?
Well, it was a mad decision many years ago. So I was either a very forward-thinking person or an idiot, I'm not sure.
You've got yourself a bit of a nickname locally, haven't you? Tell me about that.
Yes, and I'm now called Windy Pete. My children found it amusing, my grandchildren found it even more amusing, and one of them actually changed their contact in their phone from Grandpa to Windy Pete.
The farms and houses the turbine supplies are so local, the neighbours can look out of the window to see if the turbine's generating cheaper electricity and whether to put the washing on.
It's saving some up to £170 a year.
It's going to 40 households locally, and I generate just over about 100,000 kilowatt hours per annum, which will cover quite a lot of heating and so on for the homes around.
Throughout Throughout this series, I've highlighted some of the more unusual ways, big and small, that we can meet some of our most acute environmental challenges. It seems our climate solutions could be elemental.
Well, Holly joins us now. Holly, we've learnt so much throughout this series, but I think my favourite element was Windy Pete.
We all need a neighbour like Windy Pete, don't we?
We all need a neighbour like him, don't we?
And it felt so appropriate to end on him. One man making a difference from his own back garden. And it might seem like a relatively small idea, but scaled up across the region, across the country, it could have a really big impact.
And what are your big takeaways from the series as a whole?
Well, I suppose just how much is going on right now in our region, from the cutting edge to really basic ideas like children composting their food waste. And that's the other thing, just how engaged so many young people are in the issue of climate change. And it really does make me quite hopeful for the future.
It's been really interesting. Thank you very much for doing it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Holly.